how to make pro sounding afro beat instrumentals using BandLab. Now, this will be the part one of Industry Sound series, and this series will feature pro sounding vocals and pro sounding instrumentals for all genres, which includes trap, R&B, hip hop, EDM, and Afro. Make sure you do subscribe and click the notification bell so you get notified when I drop new videos like this one. The first things you need to understand right here is that I already set my levels of my tracks and also bend them. I have a video on how I create the instrumentals at FET. I'm gonna put that in the description so you can go watch it. That's if you don't know how to create your own um, instruments, just like this one. So because the first step is having good melodies, good instrumental playing, and good arrangement. That should be your first one, and that comes with just being creative and a lot of practice. But what I'm going to share with you here is how to mix them to sound professional. So the first thing we have right here that I always go for is my melody. Now you can see right here that my melody I have one pan to the right and one pan to the hard left. So what that does is it creates this kind of loud feeling for my melody, and that's what I call the Haas effect. If you don't know much about the Haas effect, I'm also going to put that in the description below so you can go ahead and watch this video and get a better understanding. Now, also, I like to double my drums. So right here you can see that the drums this is the same drum set, but I layer this into three, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why I do that going forward to this video. Now, when you bring in your instrumental at first, you're gonna have one melody, one chord section or piano section, maybe one bass section. Then this would be some of the special instrumentals that you play during the time of your creation. Then you're also going to have your drum. Now, there is one thing I like to do with all of this. I like to sidechain the whole of the instrumental and keep the drum as the target. And the reason I do this is because during instrumental creation, I want my drum to sit at the top of the instrumentals. When adding them to vocals, they feel less muddy. Now, let's go deep and see what I mean by sidechain. Now, when you come to this section is the section for adding your plugins. Now, maybe you use the song starter and the song starter AI have added all plugins for you to have a very nice clean sound. So what you want to do next is you want to sidechain this so that this sound, this frequency docks each time at a particular point, and this is going to help you to retain clarity. So you see I'll play this with and without the sidechain, which is this plugin called the pumper. So for you to get this plugin, you can go to the BandLab search section right here and search for pumper. Or if you don't want to do that, you can just go to Dynamics and you find the pumper compressor and you use this compressor to sidechain. I have more videos that I'll be linking in the description below to teach you more about sidechaining. So let's listen to the sidechain one. Now, let's listen to the one without the sidechain. You can notice that the first one sounds a little bit lower than the second one. Now, the issue about that sound that is very, very loud for this second one, which is the one without sidechain, is that during the mastering phase, it tends up to bring out extra sounds that just muddy up the whole mix, and your kick drums hardly get clearer, and other instrumentals begin to struggle. The sound begin to struggle with your vocals, and your vocals hardly come out. So that's why we normally use sidechain compression for such kind of things. Next, you see right here that, as I told you, I doubled this instrumental right here, and I move one to hard left and one to hard right. So what I will show you what I did right here. Now, the first thing you need to understand when inputting your plugins for a has effect is that the plugins in the first effect is supposed to be the same plugins in the second effect. So the what would be the only difference or the difference in the second plugin? The difference in the second plugin is that the second plugin, which would be the one that will be delayed, is going to have a filter echo on it. So normally using some other kind of DAWs, you can do some other very brilliant things. But in BandLab, I normally use the filter echo. And while you play the two instrumentals together, you use this time frame to listen to the points where they sound as if they are playing at the same time. Now you're going to get the hash effect between 10 milliseconds to around 30 milliseconds. So that's where you can get the hash effect coming in. So you need to search around 10 to 30 milliseconds to get the perfect if hash effect you're going for. And when you do that hash effect, then you can get a very good loud sound on that as well. Next on the list is our drums. And as you can see right here, I have my drums doubled, so kind of tripled. So why was I doing this? Now, my first drum comes with its own presets, and the second drum is quite kind of saturated, feel saturation effect, and also the third drum is filled with reverb kind of effect. So we're gonna go deep into there and see what I did. Okay, starting up, I use the I use first of all a multi filter on this drum so that I actually can remove some of the high end coming in and leave mid range to bass or kick frequencies on. I use a low pass filter, yeah, to remove the high and coming in. So next thing up, I use a graphic EQ. This is actually optional, but I like using graphic EQ to remove high end from kick drums so that I can have more bass on them. And also I can also choose to reduce these bass cell sounds and some other kind of sounds. Now this is not actually general, but this depends on your ear and what you're working with. Now I also use a compressor to make them kick very, very hard. And right here is my reverb or chamber. I use this reverb to because it's a very kind of warm reverb. I use this reverb to make the drum set sound quite jazzy. So I want to slow this drum set and let's play and listen. And the reason I do that was also because I have some other plans doing the layering side. Now you can also do this you can also use maybe a buzz phase on your kick drums. This also saturates it as well. You reduce the buzz. But for me, I don't like using that directly on my kick drum because I want my kick drum to sound clean. So that's why I layered my kick drum and I use it on the layered section. Now, the layered section sounds like this when you add it with the normal section. Now I'm gonna break down what I did in the layered section. Actually, for this song, I decided to switch off my buzz face, but for some other song or many kind of hip hop songs or Afro pop songs I normally do, I like using the buzz phase in the layered section. And this was because of maybe what I was hearing during the saturation. So first thing normally I like to add is a multi filter as well to also cut off the high end. I normally like using the same preset for the lead and also the same compressor preset for the second one as well. Now, as I said, the bus phase is actually optional, and for this, I didn't want to use a bus phase saturation. Rather, I prefer to use a tape simulator saturation for this work, and that tape simulation vintage that simulation saturation actually work well for me, and I leave the drive as 45%. Now the bias, which is how much type of distortion that you want the saturation to cause on. That's something you should work around using your ears. So I also add a noise gate so that that saturation sound, because when a sound is being saturated, it creates more of the sound spread around the stereo width, and sometimes this sound can come up to muddy up the whole mix. And what I used the noise gate to do was to stop all those muddiness which is actually coming out from the mix. And that was how I used it. When the noise gate comes in, it not that the noise gate does not stop the saturation. What it does is to bring back those elements close to the whole sound and tighten everything up, and that's what the noise gate is actually doing. Next, we have our gain, and the gain knob, you can use it to increase or reduce a particular sound. And whether you're increasing or reducing the sound using the gain knob is also a great effect to use for sound improvement. Now, the third drum is the reverb chamber, which is quite another saturated area. And I have some normally for many instrumentals, I use a very high reverb for the third section. But for this section, for this one, it was some kind of optional because I just wanted to add another type of saturation. And this time I decided to use the DL driver right here for the third one, and still leaving the same presets as well with the step simulator preset. And also I use a filter echo on this one because I actually wanted this bounce back from my drum set. And also whatever thing I did there, I use a noise gate to tighten it up as well, and also use the same presets for my gain. So doing all this, here's what we got. Now you can decide to use things like studio reverb for the layering part, and also things like multi-filter. Those are very great ideas to use, but I'm also going to show you more videos and on instrumentals where I use them and how I use them. So it just depends on what you like and what you're going for that particular music. So just keep that in mind. You can add those ones like studio reverb, and also the stereo wise plugin for you to have more widening of the drums, and they are also very nice effect to use. Another very beautiful effect you can use is the exciter. that if you want to brighten up the drums for this drum, I like the way it is warm, so I didn't bother reaching out for an exciter. But if you want to brighten up the drums, I think you should go for an exciter because it's going to help you brighten up the drums. I'm also going to show you that in some of the future videos. That's why I want you to go like, subscribe to these videos so that you can get what I'm talking about. And also, nothing much special on the chords and on the bass. The only thing right there you should notice that I use side chaining, which is actually the bumper effect. And for the bass, I use a very much I normally have heavy bumper effects on my bass so that they don't actually compete with my kick drums. Now for all the other instrumentals that we come in just few times, like the instrumentals like the violin, I don't actually like using bumper effect on them, since these instrumentals are not just going to play through, they are going to come in only very few a few times, like this instrumentals playing right here. Something like that doesn't play through, they just come in only in specific places, so I don't like using more of the uh bumpers right there to them. Also, I have some other things that also assist my drum, which is some of these kind of sounds. Now, sounds like that are also part of the drums. So since it's part of the drums, you don't have to sidechain that as well. So what we are going for to sidechain is only things that are not part of the drums. You don't have to sidechain the shakers, but if you will have to do something like that, it should be that it may be under a creative decision. That's for you. And I think I've did a lot of work right here on this video. I hope you learned a lot. I want you to reach out to me on WhatsApp and drop your questions in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And also don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Also, I'm going to drop in the part 2 of the Afro pop sound, which is going to be on vocals. So if you don't turn on the notification bell, you won't get notified. And also, you can join my WhatsApp group, free WhatsApp group on the description below. I'll be dropping the link for you to join and you request for access. I'm also going to give you access immediately I see your request, so that you can also get notified when I'm working on something new or dropping something new. And also, we help people right there in the group to mix their vocals to make them sound professional. Till we see you again next time. Peace.